Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've also got Skype. Our Skype username here is lrn.fm. So feel free to reach out in whatever way works best for you. We'd love to hear from you about whatever you want to discuss. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
All right, so we're starting out with the North Korea update. I guess there's been some more saber rattling by North Korea and further saber rattling by the United States government. So what sort of one-upsmanship are we is happening now? Mark, you've got the story.
Actually,
you sent it to me.
My vision's not working well today.
All right, so I don't know where you sent it to me on, though, unfortunately.
On Telegram.
So.
I can start reading it here if you'd like.
All right.
So it says the United States will launch a massive military response to threats from North Korea. This is a quote from Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis.
Well, okay, I got it pulled up here. What are the threats, though? I mean, is it what makes them any different from all the other threats that Kim Jong-un has issued?
There was an intercontinental ballistic missile, or what might pass for it, that was shot over, our ally, Japan.
Over Japan.
And a 6.4 magnitude earthquake that they generated artificially by detonating a nuke underground on the border of North and South Korea.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's that, too. So they kind of gave pretty credible proof that they have a nuke now.
Here's what I
developed nuclear
don't
technology.
understand is these tin pot dictators that try to sort of show their muscle to the United States. Has this ever worked? Has it ever worked? I mean, is Donald Trump the kind of guy that you want to goad into a fight?
Well,
especially when Donald Trump himself is in no danger.
Well, yeah, of course not. He's protected.
So do you want to goad Donald Trump into a fight when he is in no danger? That seems like a resounding no thanks.
So, according to the story here that you provided, Mark, from the AFP, Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis spoke after President Donald Trump met with his national security advisors following a test of what Pyongyang said was a hydrogen bomb able to fit atop a missile. Quote, any threat to the United States or its territories, including Guam, or our allies will be met with a massive military response, a response both effective and overwhelming. He added that Kim Jong-un should take heed of the United Nations Security Council's unified voice. All members unanimously agreed on the threat North Korea poses and remain unanimous in their commitment to the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. He said.
Yeah, so this is the United Nations, coming together as an accord saying that this is unacceptable and you need to put all your toys away. You need to give us all your toys, is what they're saying.
Right.
And, when you have, the United States really upset, Japan really upset, South Korea really upset, China going, this is getting weird. You got a war on your hands. Like, that's what this is looking like here in the very near future.
Quote, we're not looking to the total annihilation of a country, namely North Korea, but as I said, we have many options to do so. His comments came after Trump warned the time for appeasement was over and threatened drastic economic sanctions. The unexpectedly powerful test on Sunday was said to exceed in magnitude the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. The resultant shock caused momentary panic in parts of China, and Trump slammed it as, quote, very hostile and dangerous to the United States. So
it's very hostile. Very, very hostile.
That's pretty good.
So the phrasing here, I mean, the headline from the AFP, or the first sentence, is that the United States will launch a massive military response to threats from North Korea. I don't know if that's what they actually said. The quote is, any threat to the United States or its territories will be met with a massive military response. Does that mean that's what they're going to do, or that they haven't really considered that the threats are worth massively responding to yet?
You don't want to project what you're going to do. I mean, Iraq was a little unusual because, remember, Iraq was not a nuclear power. The second time.
Okay.
Because basically it was like, hey, when I'm setting an alarm on my watch here, and when it goes beep beep, we go boom boom. You got it, right? Like that's how it was. That's not what's going to happen in this circumstance, would be my guess, because North Korea is dug in, entrenched, ready to go. A nuclear power that has demonstrated the ability to fire a missile and set off a very powerful bomb. right? So they're not going to say, okay, I got a particular time, and you're going to have Kim Jong-un tied up with duct tape around his mouth and Butch's haircut too, and we want to deliver it to the DMZ, or we're going to blow you up. Like, that's not going to happen. It's going to be different this go around.
So what do you think it's going to look like?
What do I think it's going to look like?
Yeah.
I think that they're going to park 3 Aegis cruisers off each side of North Korea, and to handle any kind of intercontinental ballistic missile threat, they're going.
Because remember last time there was these headlines about U.S. military Navy moving ships from Australia up towards North Korea, and then nothing ever came of that.
Yeah, well, apparently those ships didn't stop that missile from flying over Japan, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, we heard those stories, and then we never heard any follow-up on, what happened there. So
it is the military. It's not like they're going to give you all of the details of what they're doing.
I understand that. But, if bombs started or, bullets started flying or whatever, you probably would have heard something by now.
Bullets are not flying.
Yeah.
And then Trump had a conversation with South Korea's prime minister, who's changed their little story recently. Kind of like
that?
Well, South Korea was being very pacifistic towards North Korea, and then a hydrogen bomb goes off near their border.
Now they're feeling a little differently, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, things are. You got to consider Seoul is significantly closer.
Oh, it's right next door to it.
To the DMZ than Pyongyang is.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know. It isn't looking good.
Well, so far it sounds like some more tough talk on both sides. So, I mean, I don't want to see anything explode into a conflict.
No.
That certainly would not be a good thing for the whole world. It certainly wouldn't be a good thing for the people in North Korea.
It's not a good thing for anybody, but Kim Jong-un is handling Donald Trump in the worst way possible.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's not going to go particularly well. At this point, the UN is siding with Donald Trump. Did you ever think you'd hear those words come out of anyone's mouth?
Yeah. If you want to share your comments with us, you're welcome to join us. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. It's obviously a situation worth keeping an eye on, but not, I would say, an immediate threat to anybody in the United States. What is an immediate threat is this hurricane that is brewing off the shores of, where is it? You said it's about 4 days away from Florida, Mark?
4 days away from Florida. It's heading towards Hispaniola and Cuba at this point.
Where's that boat of yours at?
What's that?
Where's that boat of yours at?
It's in Florida.
Not for long.
Aww.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you?
Hope you didn't like it too much.
Well, it's got insurance, so whatever.
Do they insure from hurricanes? Aren't acts of God usually excluded from insurance policies?
Not for boats,
okay,
Nimrod.
not for boats.
No, they what they do is they cut the amount that they'll pay on named storms. So as the insurance industry that got NOAA to bring down the classification of when they name storms, they used to name them at hurricane.
Yeah.
Now they name them at tropical whatevers. So basically, if it's a storm and miles per hour of the wind is 50 or more, then you get
half the payout.
I think you get 70%.
I see.
But who cares about my boat? They're more importantly.
He's very irritated that I brought that up.
No, I mean I'm fine. Look, you can talk about my boat if you want, but there's people are going to lose their lives. I mean, this
is a strong storm, 186 miles an hour. Or something
Texas
like that?
has the strongest storm in history, the most destructive hurricane in history.
Is that true?
Hits Texas.
Is
yes,
that true?
And then about 3 weeks later, Florida says, "Hold my beer," right? And
the Texas thing was worse than like Hugo or those other ones.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Andrew and Katrina.
Wow.
You should at least name them from like the expensive ones first.
Yeah, I don't know what the most expensive
Hugo
ones were. I just lived down there. 855-450. I partied through all the hurricanes. 855 hurricane parties. 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts here. Plus, we didn't get to the latest on Calexit. We can cover that. You can also take control of the airwaves and bring up anything you want. This is Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is America's #1 hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now, we're giving everyone who texts EASY77 to 543-543 an absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text EASY77 to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift card for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text EASY77 to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift card. This amazing offer is just one text away. EASY77 to 543-543.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
You don't need money to do business on Symbi.com. It's an easy-to-use, slick marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy at Symbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of services available at Symbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy. So get your accounts for free over at Symbi, S-I-M-B-I, Symbi.com, and take a look around and then post your services Simbi.com. As we continue here, you're welcome to comment on North Korea, the hurricane, or whatever is on your mind. Coming up, the latest from Calexit, the idea of California leaving the United States. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450, free like freedom. Plus, Johnson has a story about a female-led Lord of the Flies adaptation. I want to know more about that coming up, but first, we're going to go to your calls and thoughts. Also, Skype username LRN.FM, so don't hesitate to reach out to us in whatever way that you want. So coming up in California, by the way, the folks out in Sacramento, there's going to be now a third Calexit ballot initiative that has been filed as of, I think, a couple weeks ago now at this point, seeking to wrest the Golden State and its humongous economy away from the rest of the nation. This report from the Mercury News. This time, a new group called California Calls for a Constitutional Convention, CalConCon for short, is taking a different tack from previous independence campaigns. Instead of asking for Californians to vote for greater autonomy or independence from the United States, the CalConCon aims to go straight to the U.S. Constitution. Under the initiative, California's legislature would ask Congress to call a constitutional convention, where state lawmakers would...
The worst idea ever.
I'm not sure.
Well, why?
Because it becomes open season on the Constitution at that point.
Not true.
Why not true?
Because the Constitutional Convention makes recommendations for edits to the Constitution. And this is what we used to believe, Johnson, but it's just not true. I've looked into this. It's not true.
It's not open for total change.
No, it's not like everybody gets together and makes a whole new constitution. They don't do that.
But they could if they wanted to.
Nope, they can't. No,
okay.
They can't.
They can't recommend change the whole thing.
They can if they want to raise an army and blow up Washington, D.C. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying they make recommendations to change certain parts of it, but they can't change the whole thing?
Sure, they could change the whole thing, recommendations to change the whole thing. But it still needs to go through 2/3 of the state and 3/4 of Congress or whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
Well, does that make you feel any better, Johnson, that it would have to go through all those people?
I don't think that that's necessarily true once a constitutional convention has been opened.
I think it is.
I don't know. According to Harry Brown, it was a big problem.
Harry Brown could be wrong too. You should ask
Mark
his wife.
could also be wrong, but is there anybody out there who's an expert?
I'm going to go with Harry Brown on this one, but anyway.
Well,
anybody out there know a thing about this, you're welcome to comment. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. Under the initiative, they would ask for Congress to call this convention, where state lawmakers would then propose changes that would give states, not just California, a, quote, clear and reasonable path for complete independence, unquote. But the group hopes to make a few other tweaks to the 228-year-old law of the land before California secedes, adding language about equal pay, clean energy, making federal taxes negotiable, and recognizing nature's rights. So that doesn't seem like a good plan. Look, if you want to leave, just leave. Keep it simple. Keep it focused. If you want to get out of this agreement, then make that your one thing. But there you go, Johnson. I think Johnson's concerns are legitimate here, Mark. These people are saying they want to call the Constitutional Convention, modify the heck out of the Constitution, and then call it quits anyway.
Modifying the heck out of the Constitution isn't going to do anything, because it still needs to go. You cannot get a change to the Constitution. I don't care if you call a constitutional convention. It doesn't matter.
But what percentage of the states need to call for it in order for it to happen?
I believe it's like 2/3 of the states have to call for it in order, and they're very, very close, because states have called for it throughout the thing is there's no time limit on it, on asking for the Constitutional Convention. So for over 200 years is basically the time limit.
Daryl knows the answer, and he's like making hand signs over here, but I'm terrible at reading lips, so I have no idea what it is he's trying to say, unfortunately. But Daryl is like the man to go to when it comes to constitutional convention. You can just talk into Johnson's microphone there.
35 states need to call.
35.
And how close are they, Daryl? You got a number on that?
I don't have a number, but it's one of those things to where more than 35 states have ever called, but a lot of those states have rescinded, and so the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State for the federal government is like, oh, well, because some of these states rescinded, therefore that was never a call. So I think they're at somewhere between like 25 to 30 right now.
So they need 35 out of 50. That's 70%.
Yeah, and California doesn't have the gumption to call a constitutional convention anyway. It's not like, Calexit.
What do you mean they don't have the gumption? This would require them to with a ballot initiative.
They can't, it doesn't matter. So calling... Okay.
Yeah, but if they get 5 more states, then they get it, right? Like if they find...
Yeah, but it's not Calexit's constitutional convention. It's everybody's.
Right. But they'd have to get... If they only got like 5 more states, then it would happen, right?
Okay, look, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
About that.
Okay.
But it wouldn't matter because, even so, California only sends as many representatives to a constitutional convention as Vermont does.
Right.
Right?
So what you're saying is if the constitutional convention were to be called... that you don't believe that California's proposals for equal pay, clean energy, making federal taxes negotiable, and recognizing nature's rights would get any play?
Maybe nature's rights and California's and taxes being negotiable, but honestly, no. I think what you're going to probably find at a constitutional convention is the kind of thing that'll fly through 35 red states. I mean, let's be serious here. Most of the country is red if you look at it geographically, and a constitutional convention isn't going to benefit Democrats.
It's an interesting point. You're welcome to share your thoughts. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
Things like one law at a time. Things like, Read the Bills Act. Things like a cap on government spending. Things.
You think those would fly?
Those are the kind of things. Things on term limits. Americans want these. This kind of stuff that reaches a plurality that a whole bunch of people, want. I'm sure you can get equal, a sort of anti-discrimination verbiage in there. Things like people can't be discriminated on based on, race, creed, color, sexual orientation, a variety of things like that would probably fly, would be my guess. But that would only be at a federal level. The government cannot. Congress shall make no law kind of stuff.
Gotcha. So hopefully they'll have some success here and they'll actually get this thing happening where they could propose what they're saying here would be a change to allow other states and California a clear and reasonable path to complete independence. You can share your thoughts with us, but they do have to, collect probably 400,000 signatures in order to get this on the ballot out there. You can bring up anything that you want. Number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We'll go to your calls coming up. 855-450-3733. Plus, Lord of the Flies with females. It's Free Talk Live. More on the way.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you had purchased $100 of Bitcoin in 2010, today you'd have $2,600,000. While that sinks in, you now have a huge cryptocurrency opportunity at below market price at a guaranteed 10 cents per coin. ProCoin, a coin publicly traded on the open market, easily converted to cash, available in 60 countries, and ProCoin is the only cryptocurrency offering coin-back rewards for consumers and merchants. Take action by August 31st at procoincurrency.net. That's procoincurrency.net. Deadline for 10-cent guarantee is August 31st.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio waves. Take control of those airwaves by bringing up anything that's on your mind. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Mark, tell me about the Bullet Blocker.
Bullet Blocker is a company, bulletblocker.com, that was set up by an former Army Ranger and a firearms instructor. And their goal was to make backpacks for kids to protect them in case of a school shooting. Well, that has blossomed into a huge selection of clothing, backpacks, and briefcases that could save your life. These things are airport security friendly. They're the thinnest and lightest ballistic available in today's market. They're very flexible and concealable, attractive, made right here in the U.S. And you've got to have a nice jacket. You might as well have one that stops bullets, too. Get something for the whole family. This isn't the kind of thing you get a second chance at. And by the way, these things have to be often, in many cases, unless they happen to have one in stock in your size, they have to be put together. So if you want one for winter, when it starts getting cool and you live in the northern climes like I do, now's the time to hit them up. BulletBlocker.com. If the lives in your family are priceless, protect them at BulletBlocker.com.
All right, let's go to your calls and thoughts. You can bring up anything. We've got Gamma Blast on the line in Chicago. Go ahead, Gamma Blast. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys, I don't know if it'll make for good radio or not, but that hasn't happened to me that left me perplexed, and I just want to get you guys' take on it. I got a call from a guy claiming he was from a Microsoft IT department, and my computer was sending out messages.
Many messages. Very many messages.
What?
Your computer very sending many messages? You must we'll fix your computer for you immediately.
Just give login info.
No, he didn't ask for login info. He didn't ask for any of that. He had a heavy accent just like that. What he had me do was do a couple of I don't know if you know, there's a function where you can hit Window and R and a little pop-up window.
You actually did what this guy asked you to do?
Well, let's hear what he did.
For a while, hold on, and then he says type in MS config.
Yep. Okay.
So I type in MS config and a window pops up. Go to
That's a power user tool.
Other, and it shows me a lot of my stuff. Some is running, some is stopped. So he goes, see all the stuff that stopped? Did you stop that? And I was like, no, but I deleted some programs. But he goes, no. So he said, we need to fix that. I'm gonna have you guys, or have not you guys. I have me. He kept saying, "I want to attach an app to fix this problem." So then I brought up.
He kept saying,
Windows
"What to
R,
fix this problem?"
I put an app on my computer.
Okay.
So maybe you guys can follow along if you want. You know what I'm doing on the computer, and stop before you download anything. But then he said, "Okay, hit the Windows R again."
Mm-hmm.
And that window popped up, and type in www.1234computer.com.
Please, just to our listeners out there, please don't do whatever it is that he's. He's just giving us examples of what was said. It is not a good idea, Mark. Do not go to that website. I see you typing something into your laptop. This could be a very malicious website.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you to. Well, I don't know if it would hurt you at all, but
it may very well. Websites can have what's called malware or malware.
Well, then I'm already screwed.
Yep.
So anyway, so I went to the site, and then there's an option to download an app. Supposedly to fix whatever stopped my computer.
Oh, it'll fix something, all right. It'll fix it so they can get remote access to your machine.
I almost did it, and I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I'm like, something don't smell right about this. I think I'm going to pass. And he kept he was pushing hard. Really
I bet he
hard.
was.
And I was like, why
his
would
family
you guys,
gets to eat if he can get you to click that app.
I was like, why would you guys even be, if it wasn't Microsoft, I was like, why would you guys be so invested in whether my computer might be in danger of viruses?
If it was Microsoft, why wouldn't you be going to Microsoft.com? If there was some software that Microsoft wanted you to download, why would it be at 1234computer.com?
I was like, am I going to the dark web here? Or
no, that wouldn't be the dark web, but it is a bad place on the web. Okay, so what phone
Time
did
to
he
run a
call
virus
you?
scan.
Time to run a virus scan and an anti-malware scan. But what phone did he call you on? Was this like a landline? Cell phone?
It was on my cell phone, the phone I'm calling you on.
So he called you?
I was like, how do you know that my phone is connected to the computer ID you're talking about? Because he kept saying it's coming from your computer ID.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, how do you know that? And he was like, well, last time you took it in for service, we got your number, yada, yada, yada.
And did you take it in for service from Microsoft?
I took it into a place called, no. Well, I took it in a place where I bought it, which is called, as far as the name was Micro Center, like 3 years ago or something.
So if somebody calls you with something like this, it is almost certainly a scam. I mean, this just sounds top to bottom to be very, very suspicious.
Okay. Yeah, I would think so. In the end, I said,
if somebody's calling,
you dodged a bullet, but I'd still do a virus and malware scan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now, what are some good anti-malware, some good frees? Malwarebytes.
Trend Micro.
Trend Micro
does house call.
That's one where you don't even need to download anything, right? It's in the browser.
I think there's a download to it.
Okay. There used to be one that they had that would just run in your browser, and you wouldn't even have to download it.
U.S. government doesn't want you running Kaspersky anymore, so that's probably a good one.
Think so?
Well, one weird thing he did that kind of got my trust is he gave me back a callback number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but giving you a number, it's not like it's Microsoft's callback number.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like,
anybody can answer the phone. Microsoft Investigations Department, or whatever BS department that they came up with, Security Department. Who can I direct you to? And it's the same guy.
It was probably just like a key logging program, just to wait till I enter.
I couldn't tell you what kind of malware it was, but it's going to be costly.
It could be an attack program that could, open up access to your computer, open up a back door.
Do you run any Bitcoin wallets on your computer? Because
could try to steal those.
Could install one on your computer so it starts mining using your computer.
It could install ransomware on your computer.
Ransomware would be my guess.
It could, possibly turn your computer into a slave, where that you become part of what's called a botnet. And
that's what I kind of thought it was. They were going to try to use my computer to link up to something else.
Yeah, hard to say what would have happened.
Better than ransomware.
Or it's hard to say what might be happening right now, because you did go to the website. So if I were you, I'd go ahead and get off the line here and start working on possibly remedying what may be an infection immediately on your.
My computer's 5 years old. so I wasn't too worried about it. If it conks out, I'm due for
as long as you don't do any online banking or check your email or do anything useful with that computer.
Yeah, as long as you don't have any useful files or anything like that on there, then whatever. Or if you've used, like you said, it could be a keylogger. So if you're putting in passwords.
Just going to that site could have been it. Because he didn't seem like
absolutely.
that did not solve what he wanted to have happen.
Oh, no, he probably wants you to put all kinds of different tools on there. So he's like, okay, he's
on this app, and then, of course,
he probably acted like it didn't solve it, but okay, he's installed part 1 of 4 here. Let's go on to part 2. Let's put the other bug in his system. Good luck, Gamma Blast. Thank you for the call tonight. Now, obviously, this isn't a technical help podcast, but we do have some fairly technically adept people on the show here tonight. Johnson and I do know a thing or two about it. Mark, not so much, but even
I think
you
this
probably
website looks fine.
You're not really on that website. Please tell me you didn't. You're pulling our chain. Okay. All right. The toll-free number here. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
2 tech guys and the funny one.
Well, what do you do there? Johnson's pretty funny. He's got some really good voices that he does.
You, not so much.
So what do you do in a situation like that where somebody's calling you, they're making claims about working for Microsoft or Linux or whatever it is that they claim that they're doing, and they're trying to get you to... They're supposedly helping you with something. How do you do you just say thanks but no thanks and hang up? Do you try to verify who they claim to be and put some time into this, or just call it quits and say get out of here?
I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah, I would say thanks but no thanks. I don't need your help.
I'm gonna start a security website. It's gonna be called Hillary'sCloset.com.
I don't know what you would find in there. 855-450-FREE, like
servers,
freedom.
Lots of servers.
Free Talk Live.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities, all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com. I've discovered the next big thing on the internet. Symbi.com is a symbiotic economy with its own currency where people trade services virtually and locally. Forget the old economy. This is your economy. Symbi.com is slick to use and is backed by the same people that helped launch Reddit and Airbnb. I'm not kidding when I say this is the next big thing. Trust me. Go get an account at Symbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Symbi, SIMBI.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees, no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up, too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days, free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
When 16-year-old Jeffrey Patterson died in a car accident in February, he didn't just leave behind grieving friends and family, he also left a significant web presence. In a tribute to their son, Jeff's parents have continued to update their son's blogs and social media sites, including a blog called Shitbirds Everywhere.
Well, Jeff used his blog to make fun of stupid shitbirds. Yeah. And now that we're doing this, it's like part of him is still alive.
Yeah, and then when I post a picture of some shitbird who has a stupid ankle tattoo or wears some retarded hat, I feel like somewhere he's smiling.
He hated retarded hats so much.
Whenever we get a comment calling Jeff a dumb fag for making fun of a handicapped person on a rascal scooter, well, it's like he's still here. Jeff would have gotten such a kick out of that fat shitbird. He really would have.
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us toll free here and bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype. The Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Coming up, a female Lord of the Flies. We'll talk about that. You're welcome to bring up anything that you want. Also, Free Talk Live is brought to you by Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. It's celebrating its 5-year anniversary with an upcoming 5-year anniversary special screening in Portsmouth. We did find out today the rumor that I'd speculated about last night is absolutely true. The grand opening of the Bitcoin shop, the Free State Bitcoin Shoppy out in Portsmouth, is going to be coinciding on the same day with the movie presentation, this free movie screening of Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. It's going to be on the 17th, which is a Sunday. And so the movie screening is going to be at 7 o'clock at night at the Seacoast Repertory Theater in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And Derek J. and Steven, who've had their Bitcoin shop open for a few weeks now, maybe about a month, I think. I think that started in late July or very early August. They're going to have their grand opening on that same day. So perfect day to spend the day in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, right toward the very end of summer. We'll ring out the summer with some fun over at the Free State Bitcoin shop. It's going to be open from noon until 6. And so a great excuse to just get out there and kind of explore the city and check out some of the cool Bitcoin accepting locations. There's a couple of restaurants now, I think, out there that are taking Bitcoin. So I'm thinking we should go out there and grab some lunch. And then we'll be actually doing Free Talk Live from the Free State Bitcoin shop. So that's going to be cool. And then we'll be sticking around later on for the theatrical presentation of Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, which will be followed by a question and answer with Derek J. and also a raffle for the one of 5 existing Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree posters that exist in the world. So that will be raffled off as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. You can, if you've not yet seen Victimless Crime Spree, you could obviously wait until the 17th. Or if you're not going to be in New England and you can't make it to be there in person, you can always watch it for free online anytime at victimlesscrimespree.com.
What does this raffle go towards?
Paying for the theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the theater cost?
I mean, I don't know if I should be spreading that around. I guess I haven't agreed to not talk about it, but several $100s to rent the theater.
I just kind of wonder. I mean, what's it like to rent a theater? I don't know.
Well, you give them money and then
show anything you want there.
I think that
your friends.
I'm sorry?
Just bring your friends and show whatever you want kind of thing?
Well, you can kind of do it in a couple different ways. So you can rent a theater and then have the theater charge admission. Or you can do what we're doing, which is rent the theater and have it open first come, first serve. So anybody who wants to come see the movie for free can come in and
then,
do that.
Then you guilt them into buying raffle tickets, and then hopefully you get enough money out of the raffle that you...
I don't care if I get enough money out of the raffle or not. I mean, it'd be nice, but it's not... That was something I came up with later anyway. I noticed we had a second poster. There's the one that's hanging up here at the LRN studios by the restrooms, and then there.
And will it be signed by the Derek J?
I expect that it will be. Yes, I'm trying to acquire the fancy signing pen right now.
Can you get the two cop ladies that are on the poster
to sign it
too?
You know, I actually sent an email to Jason Short, who's not one of the two cop ladies, but asking, because one of our listeners did want Jason Short, who's one of the officers featured, one of the antagonists, if you will, in the film, and I did ask him whether or not he'd be willing to sign. He never wrote me back, so I'm going to take that as a no. But yeah, so look forward to seeing some of our listeners out there. We're looking forward to going out there. And Mark, you said you're going to come out, and I know Daryl wants to go out for this thing. So
yeah, it'll be exciting.
We're probably going to have a nice little carpool coming out from the Keene area. And so again, check out victimlesscrimespree.com if you've never seen the movie. It's 5 years old at this point, and it's been a good run. Toll-free number here if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like Free Talk Live. Surf Daddy is on the line in California. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello there.
What up, guys?
Hey, you're on the radio.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I wanted to talk about Calexit.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys are thinking this through, that what a calamity a situation like that will create out here.
Why?
How so?
Well, you know, there's this perception across the country that California is this left-wing communist bastion, and that's not really the case. We're quite the mix of a lot of different extreme political beliefs on all sides. You know, there's a big amount of right-wingers out here. There's a lot of libertarians, and of course,
but those guys don't win elections. They don't dominate the state house, right?
Well, that's if you think the election's legit.
Well, I don't think elections are. I don't think the state's legitimate, but that doesn't stop them from putting on their elections and their show, and putting people in seats and having them make up things for people to do. California is the number 49th least free state, or 49th most free, or however the heck you want to look at it. It's not very free. It's next to, it's second to last.
But it is twice as free as New York, who is last.
No, New York was number 50, and New York is quite a distance away from California, so it's probably not so likely that California will be taking its place at number 50 anytime soon, but it's still pretty miserable down at number 49.
If the local elections in California aren't true, then or aren't legitimate, I presume that means you think they're somehow the ballots are stuffed or whatever. Then why are there red states? I think
they're a fraud. Yeah.
But then why are there red states?
That's a fair question. It could be argued. There's evidence of fraud on both sides. Really.
Sure.
I believe that the left is more likely to commit fraud than the right. However,
I don't know why that would be the case. I mean, aren't they both after power? Aren't both the left and the right seeking the same seats of power? I mean, it would seem to me that they'd be willing to do whatever it took to make sure that they got themselves those seats, both sides.
Well, I believe that the left is far more likely to commit acts of violence, and anybody who's willing to put on a black mask and assault people is certainly willing to engage in illicit ballot stuffing.
Okay, so all that's fine, but let me ask you this. Why is it that you think that California becoming its own country rather than being the 49th least free state in America is some kind of terrible thing?
Good question.
Well, and I love the question. I just believe we would devolve into a state of almost civil war out here. There are a lot of people with their heels dug in. California is very diverse, as everybody knows. Diverse in every single facet, whether it's ethnicity, whether it's income, whether it's the environment, whatever it may be. You have Northern California, i.e. the state of Jefferson, that is pretty hard right. You got, I mean, it's almost like Texas up there.
But they'll grow their weed for you.
Yeah, there's that up in Humboldt and areas like that. I believe a lot of those people are truly libertarian, though. They just don't know it yet.
Probably.
I'm speaking of the people.
I mean, why would it have to lead to civil war? I mean, why couldn't if California were to secede, why couldn't the red side of California just be like, well, you guys just seceded, so now we're going to secede too, and then you guys could secede into your own state?
I'd be down for that.
All right, so why not go that route?
I suspect that's what's going to happen. If California goes, it'll probably section off. It should.
You don't have to start shooting.
It's 2/3 of the western seaboard.
Right.
And if you look at the eastern seaboard and how many states line that thing, and then you look at California, it just doesn't make any sense. The reason it's the size that it is because in 1840s or 50s or 60s, I don't know when exactly it became a state, there just weren't that many people out there. So they had to combine, locales on the western coast and just call it all California.
Well, it was Alta California at the time, but I believe the state of Jefferson movement has more of a likelihood than Calexit, and that's kind of what I would hope for.
But the state of Jefferson isn't trying the ballot initiative, right? The state of Jefferson is just trying to get the state representatives to do something, aren't they?
There's been petitions filed in Sacramento by, I guess, their county supervisors. At one point, I think about a year ago, 21 counties, and I may be mistaken, you may do some research. I think 21 counties went to Sacramento to petition to become the state of Jefferson. And these were county supervisors that were on board with this idea. So it's a real movement up there. I was just up there.
No, it is. Yeah, we've talked to one of their organizers. Unfortunately, they had a schism recently. Now there are two independence movements, or at least two, up that way. Hey, thanks for the call, Surf Daddy. I appreciate it. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. The Lord of the Flies back, female only. Johnson's going to tell us about it. And you can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up anything you want. Hour 2's on the way. Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,424. Antiwar.com reports tensions between the U.S. and North Korea threaten to have devastating consequences for South Korea. South Korean officials, however, appear to be lining up to play host to yet more U.S. military assets, including potentially bringing nuclear arms back into the country. The first announced deal was that South Korea will temporarily allow the U.S. to deploy 4 additional THAAD missile defense systems in the country. The U.S. government tried to rush through this deployment before the last election, but was stopped midway through by environmental concerns. South Korean Defense Minister Song Young-moo is encouraging the U.S. to regularly deploy strategy assets like aircraft carriers and nuclear bombers in the country. He also suggested it was worth considering hosting tactical nuclear arms outright. On top of hosting more U.S. military equipment, they're looking at their own military buildup. The White House announced on Monday that they have given conceptual approval for removing a limit on the sort of warhead South Korea is allowed to have. While the Trump deal is not yet finalized, it is part of decades of progressive loosening of South Korea's arms limitations. Officials say they hope they'll buy billions of dollars in U.S.-made missiles under the deal. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports workers took to the streets nationwide to rally for better wages on the national holiday honoring America's labor movement. Fight for 15 campaigns to increase the minimum wage took place around the nation on Labor Day, with several beginning before the sun came up. Fast food workers were especially well represented. In Chicago, several thousand people rallied in the Pilsen neighborhood on Monday morning before marching downtown. Attendees protested Governor Bruce Rauner's recent veto of a bill to raise Illinois' minimum wage to $15 per hour. That state's minimum wage is currently $8.25, except in Chicago, where it is set currently at $11 per hour. Protesters plan to organize outside of McDonald's. McDonald's corporate said in a statement the burger chain had raised pay and started offering paid time off at company-owned restaurants. In Connecticut, dozens of people participated in labor protests in Hartford, East Hartford, Manchester, New Haven, and Waterbury. A crowd of fast food workers chanted as they marched outside of McDonald's in Hartford, "Hold the burger, hold the fries, make our wages supersized." In New Orleans, dozens of people gathered outside of McDonald's demanding that the minimum wage be increased and seeking their rights to form a union. The highest state wages are $10 in Massachusetts and Washington State. The District of Columbia's minimum wage is currently $12.50 per hour. D.C., California, and New York are phasing in a $15 per hour minimum wage. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Hurricane Irma, barreling towards the Caribbean and southeastern United States, was upgraded to a powerful Category 4 storm on Monday as islands in its path braced for a possible onslaught. Hurricane advisories were issued for territories that dot the West Indies, including parts of the Leeward Islands, the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, in preparation for the intensifying storm that could pummel the area with life-threatening winds, storm surges, and torrential rain by Tuesday evening, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. One grocer in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, said traffic at his store on Monday was about 50% higher than normal as people stocked up on water, canned products, and batteries. Irma also threatens the U.S. East Coast and Florida, which on Monday evening declared a state of emergency. The National Hurricane Center is predicting Irma will reach southern Florida on Saturday. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. A man on TV urges the mass purchase of Listerine. This is Doyle Redland reporting. In what is believed to be the widest-reaching appeal ever made by an individual on behalf of an oral hygiene aid, an unidentified man urged millions of people across the U.S. to purchase Listerine brand antiseptic mouthwash today. Experts are baffled as to why a person with the power to reach millions would choose to present an oral hygiene-related message. FCC spokesperson Grant Yarborough.
Why this individual should be so obsessed with oral hygiene is to demand that several million bottles of Listerine be simultaneously purchased is baffling.
The man, described as a handsome, trustworthy-looking individual in his early 30s, emphatically stressed that Listerine should be purchased over other, inferior mouthwash brands. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio. You can take control of the airwaves here at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you here in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Whether you want to talk about California seceding from the United States, the Calexit movement expanding into yet another ballot initiative, this time calling for a constitutional convention, or perhaps the new face of ISIS. I don't know if you've heard, but their new spokesperson is a 10-year-old American boy. We can talk about all that. But first, Johnson, you brought in a story out of the New York Daily News about Lord of the Flies, the old book. I remember reading this I think we read it, when I was in high school, where a bunch of young males ended up on some kind of island, and I don't remember how exactly they got there. It's been quite a while since I've read the book, but the book kind of looks into what natural order supposedly arises out of that situation. Yep. And I remember there was a kid named Fatty or Piggy or something like that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff.
I know I read it, but man, it's been a long time.
Yeah. They weren't nice to Piggy. That's about all I remember.
Oh, they killed him.
Yeah, I believe that they did.
So, spoiler alert.
You don't have to spoiler alert a 50-year-old book.
Somebody out there hadn't read it yet, Mark. And now they're like,
most people haven't.
Now they know what happened to Piggy.
I would say most people haven't read it, and too darn bad. You should have read it already.
Yeah, wait a minute. What if you're like, I don't know, in high school right now, and you've never had the chance to read the book before?
We're not talking about new people. We're talking about new books.
Well, we don't know that the movie's going to do the same thing. So
is this a movie?
Those people who are in high school right now are probably waiting for the movie. So.
Is that what we're talking about? Is a movie, not a book adaptation?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
An upcoming all-female adaptation of Lord of the Flies is in the works, and many believe the male writers behind the flick completely missed the point of the book. Scott McGee and David Siegel announced Wednesday their plans to write and direct a gender-swapped version of William Golding's 1954 novel, which focused on a group of young British boys driven to savagery and violence as they attempt to govern themselves and survive after they're marooned on an island.
Ah, they were marooned. Okay.
Yes.
That figures.
Yeah, marooned. Anyway, so we want to do a very faithful but contemporized adaptation of the book, but our idea was to do it with all girls rather than boys, Siegel told Deadline.
What happens to this group of teenage girls after all of their cell phones finally die forever?
Well, I mean, not saying that this is just young women, but young people in America today are, best I can tell, incompetent. And, what are they going to do on an island? Somebody who has any kind of Cub Scout training is going to rule them all.
Sure.
I mean, the rest of, the mothers, I have some insight into this, and mothers do everything, it seems like. And I don't understand why. I have to tell mine to step back on a regular basis. Stop.
You have to tell your mother?
Alone. Mother of my child.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Because your mother is living with you as well.
Yes, and she will do too many things for him, too. She'll do too many things for me, but I'm fine with that.
Well, they say, we want to do a very faithful but contemporized adaptation of the book, but our idea was to do it with all girls rather than all boys, Siegel told Deadline. McGee explained the decision by saying that with young girls instead of young boys as characters, the plot is shifted in a way that might see people in a way that might help people see the story anew. It breaks away from some of the conventions, the way we think of boys and aggression.
I can tell you one thing. Lots of the women that I know do not get along very well with one another. I mean, and that's under normal circumstances. So I can't say that a bunch of women on or young females or whatever on an island together, if that were to actually happen, would go particularly well. It would seem like there would be just as much infighting.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I imagine
just as much, if not more. Or I don't know. I wouldn't propose to know, but I say they do a modern version of Survivor. I don't know why we're doing a movie. Take them out there. Get the 12-year-olds out there, have their parents sign releases, and put them on an island and do a Survivor show on them. Do modern television over the course of 12 weeks.
Well, maybe after this movie comes out, they will. You never know. Well, the film was quickly met with serious backlash from many on social media who believe McGee and Siegel completely missed the point of Golding's novel, and that the boys' descent was a reflection on and a direct result of toxic masculinity.
So the suggestion by the critics here is that
only boys would do this, ever. Because they're men, and men are terrible.
Right, because women just all get along.
They have external
so well.
genitalia, that's the problem. Clearly, that's what causes them to be aggressive.
Well, it would be relatively easy to go to boys' schools and girls' schools, boy only and girl only schools, and just take a look at and see, who has the toxic masculinity, or if such a thing exists. Take a look.
Yeah.
You should be able to find that out relatively quickly. You don't need to blog about it. You don't need to change your gender. You just need to go look.
Well, maybe, but if you're talking about a randomized, because people who are attending boys and girls schools, it's not necessarily a randomized sample, right? There's a certain type of person that tends to be sent to a boys' school or a girls' school, right?
I don't know.
And a family that does that. At any rate, in fact, Golding himself previously explained that his decision to write the novel with a cast of boys instead of girls was intentional, and that he believed women to be far superior to men. If you, as it were, scaled down human beings and scaled down society, if you land with a group of little boys, they are more like a scaled down version of society than a group of little girls would be, he said.
Why?
Don't ask me why.
I had not read that, by the way.
And this is a terrible thing to say because I'm going to be chased from hell to breakfast by all the women who talk about equality. This has nothing to do with equality at all. I think women are foolish to pretend that they are equal to men. They are far superior and always have been. Golding.
If you're writing a movie about a bunch of girls trapped on an island, I suppose this is the right thing to do, is to hype up girls, right?
This was the original author, right, that was saying this?
Can't be.
Yeah, Golding's novel here.
Oh, okay.
This is a quote from Golding.
Yeah.
All right.
The guy who originally wrote Lord of the Flies is the one saying that he believes that women are far superior to men.
Queen of the Damned, which was, I think, the third in the vampire series by Anne Frank, was
Anne Rice. Anne Rice.
Anne Rice. Oh, I'm sorry. I did my best.
Anne Frank was.
I could see how she would have some insight into thinking they were like vampires while she was stuck up there going. They try to suck my blood every day. I don't know.
So in that one, she talked about eliminating 9 out of 10 males, and that somehow would make the world better. And I thought that was sort of an interesting notion. This take on it doesn't really do much for me. Let's see what happens if you put a couple dozen teenage girls on an island. What happens?
Well, Golding also revealed that he avoided mixing genders on the island because that would have inevitably led to sex, which he didn't want to overshadow the main idea of the story, the problem of evil and the problem of how people are to live together in a society. Many on Twitter agreed with Golding's original decision and expressed unhappiness at the gender-swapped cast. An all-women remake of Lord of the Flies makes no sense because the plot of the book wouldn't happen with all women.
Unbelievable.
Writer Roxanne Gay wrote, if you want to tell a story about toxic femininity, fine, do that. But using Lord of the Flies as a container is lazy and stupid. And having 2 men write it is absurd.
Okay, so she might have a point there.
That I'll go for, but then why hasn't this been done already then?
I feel like it is being done already. That's my...
What do you mean?
I think there's a perfect writer who's writing Lord of the Flies with all women already. The writer's name is Genji Kohan. Or Kenji Gohan,
that name sounds familiar. Wasn't that the author of Weeds, the television series?
That's correct. What's the next television series that she did?
I have no idea.
Orange is the New Black.
Oh,
a story
I've never
about
seen
all
it.
the women in prison which is very much like Lord of the Flies, especially when they take over the prison.
Oh, that happens, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
How about that? I mean, there you're talking about a relatively new series. I spoiled on a 60-year-old book.
Yeah. All right.
So
I think this is absurd, by the way, this claim that the plot would never have happened with all women. That women would... What is she suggesting? That if a bunch of women were on an island together, they'd all just get along, all their clocks would get along in the same order, their periods would line up, and everybody would just, get along just fine for, 20 days out of the month, but then things get a little...
I don't think that you can claim
difficult.
to explore toxic masculinity or femininity or anything like that in a fiction book. That's not exploring anything.
There's more coming
it's
up here.
making up a story.
You can share your thoughts. We got more.
Women should call in
on the way. Yeah, if you'd like, you can join us here, Free Talk Live.
Do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4...
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite. Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Thinking about getting into Bitcoin mining? Well, you can forget about the ongoing costs, constant equipment upgrades, and maintenance, having to take care of your own server and figuring out all the technical aspects of it. Just hire the professionals to do it for you. You can do that over at pool.bitcoin.com. They make it easy with their 100% uptime guarantee. Super easy to use website with a handy calculator on it that can help you, depending on what you're willing to invest, figure out what you might possibly be able to make in your Bitcoin mining operation. Or you can mine the new Bitcoin Cash. It is up to you to decide over at pool.bitcoin.com. That's pool.bitcoin.com.
So with the most recent crash in Bitcoin,
prices are down like $500 in the last couple days.
Yeah, I mean, is now a good time to buy, or
who are you asking?
You.
I have no idea. How would I know what the I don't know what the future is. I don't understand why people ask me this question. I'm not a I can't read the future. I can't predict those things. If people could predict the future, they'd be making all kinds of money, and they probably wouldn't tell everybody that, that they knew how to do it.
So you're saying you do know how to do it?
No, I don't know a damn thing about what the future is going to hold. But it seems to me that generally buying Bitcoin's a good idea, and holding on to it seems to have been a pretty good strategy over time. And that's from me. I'm not an investor. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I can hold. Like, that's easy enough.
Yeah, it's all easy.
So let's see here. So yeah, go to pool.bitcoin.com as we go. We're going to get back into the story here about the Lord of the Flies. Possible all-female version is going to be coming out, and some of the feminists are in an uproar about this, saying that the one feminist, I presume she's a feminist, one lady that they got to comment for the story, saying that essentially if women were in the roles of the Lord of the Flies, that the Lord of the Flies wouldn't have happened. And I want to hear more about it. We'll get into that. But first, Ralph in New Jersey. Ralph, you're on
toxic
Talk
masculinity.
There you go.
The usual fare. As you very well know, I look at affirmative action, and I can only come to the conclusion that it came about because of white guilt, okay? And it definitely is behind it, okay? And that being said, the next paradigm and the next, dynamics as far as affirmative action cases in this country is concerned, it's not going to be Abigail Pacer or the Baki case. Abigail Pacer.
Abigail who?
Fisher.
Pitcher?
Fisher.
Fisher.
Fisher, right. Okay. Abigail Fisher or the Baki case. You're familiar with that, right?
No, I don't know. I've never heard of any of these people.
But nevertheless, they are white and black, but now it's going to be black and Asians. And the Justice Department, just as they've done with the DACA case, they would be looking into the theory and practices of affirmative action that clearly discriminate on Asian Americans in this country.
Discriminates against or in favor of?
Affirmative action doesn't exist anymore, Ralph.
It doesn't exist?
No, affirmative action is a shutdown program.
Since when?
Some time.
They're not requiring people receiving federal grants or federal money to buy or
That's
not
a different program. It's not affirmative
I
action.
thought affirmative action was affirmative action was a general term to describe what happens when you have to have a certain number of people equal in color.
In all the major corporations and countries around the country that they're constantly trying to meet affirmative action guidelines. Yeah, absolutely.
No, they're trying to have diversity.
It could not be. Can I have a word said twice on this? It could not be. It's not possible for me to think that this is a means for black to be advanced or to be uplifted. It only put a stamp of inferiority on the blacks, in my opinion. And that's not just an opinion.
It only did what on the blacks?
The inferiority conflicts.
Yeah, I don't think affirmative action is a good thing. Thank you for the call tonight, Ralph. I appreciate hearing from you because it doesn't allow people to compete on an even playing field. And it is, you can argue it's reverse racism.
It would claim that the playing field isn't even to begin with.
Okay. Well, I understand that some people get started in different parts of economic strata, meaning if you're born to rich parents or you're born to poor parents, that can put you at a disadvantage or an advantage. But there are blacks and there are Asians who are born to rich and poor parents as well. What affirmative action looks at is the color of your skin, does it not?
Yeah.
Not necessarily your economic strata. I mean, I don't know what all the details are of this program. You're saying it was abolished, Mark?
It's my understanding, yeah. Gone.
When did that happen?
All right, I'll look it up.
I just didn't know if that was something you knew off the top of your head. If you know and you want to share your thoughts with us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. But ultimately, we can go back into the discussion about the book, which is now going to become a movie. It was originally about all males in The Lord of the Flies, and now the movie writers are saying they're going to be doing an all-female version. Some people are already up in arms about it.
The internet's all a Twitter.
Even though they haven't seen the movie yet, they don't know anything about it.
Oh my God, men
are
writing a story about an all-women Lord of the Flies?
Well, that's the only part that's the only critique so far that I think actually makes any sense. I mean, I would buy a script written by women about women more than I would men about women.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
it seems odd that writers would undertake this. You'd think that they'd trot somebody out, at the very least, include a woman on their writing team.
Right.
It's hubris.
Yeah, absolutely that is. So I'll agree with that part of the critique, but the claim here that Roxanne Gay wrote that an all-women remake of Lord of the Flies, she says, makes no sense because she says the plot of that book wouldn't happen with all women. Well, would it happen exactly the same way? Well, probably not. But would it happen that people abandoned on an island, whether they be female or male, would fight and disagree and, potentially not get along very well? Maybe even somebody kills another person? I don't think that's I don't think that would be an impossibility with all women.
Well, there were jokes in this. They said some had jokes about the new directions in which the plot could be taken, especially considering the script was in the hands of two men. You just know that with two male writers, the all-female Lord of the Flies is going to blame the downfall of island society on PMS, one user wrote. Wait, what was it that Mark said earlier? We know
I
Mark.
think I said something about PMS.
Apparently, Mark is a hack writer, according to this one Twitter user. Lord of the Flies starring only girls. Get marooned on an island, band together, find food, shelter, rescue. Nobody dies. The end. Wrote another one.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that's what happens when women get together.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I said, I think that Orange is the New Black is essentially, written by a female writer, basically about all women in their own little society.
Do they fight in Orange and the New Black?
Could possibly women prisoners possibly fight?
Let me tell you, when I was in jail, we were in the, you can always hear when they call for Code 3, which was what their code was for basically a fight going on, and they needed as many available hands from the staff as possible to run over to where the fight was happening. Whenever it was a Code 3, 9 times out of 10, I'm not exaggerating, it was in F block. That's the female block. 9 times out of 10. If somebody called a Code 3, almost every time after that, it was F block. The toll-free number, you tell me what that means.
Genji Kohan, by the way, is the name of it.
Genji Kohan.
Who wrote Orange is the New Black.
855-450-FREE like freedom. You can take control of the airwaves here. Share your thoughts on Lord of the Flies, the all-female edition. It's Free Talk Live.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves, bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can Skype into the show here at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Also, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform that's designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy, and also fees are low and transactions are quick and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to dash.org and find out why. Mark, you were looking at the affirmative action because you had said affirmative action was done with. I said, I don't know. I've heard they're still, got these restrictions on places that are accepting government money. They've got to hire people based on the color of their skin. What did you find out?
It's mostly affecting colleges, but parts of affirmative action have been gutted and parts basically haven't.
So college admissions, those who are taking federal money, still have to follow the affirmative action rules.
I think they sort of set up their own rules, and then they seem to get sued over those rules, is what it seems to be about.
What about the government contractors? Because it used to be that
now, that's a different story. So government contractors, oftentimes you'll see minority and women-owned businesses get a deference.
Right. So that still happens.
That's not affirmative action.
It's not.
It's a different program.
No? Why is it not affirmative action?
Well, I'm sorry. You can't just call, things...
I thought affirmative action was when somebody gets a preference based on the color of their skin.
Legally.
As I understand, that is not an affirmative action program. Something else. The government can decide who they spend money on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just them deciding.
All right. So let's go to Jason in Ohio. We can talk a little bit more about all women. Would they get along on the Lord of the Flies, or would there be a huge fight and
hashtag not all women
cat fights? We'll get into that. You can, of course, share your thoughts on anything you want. Jason is in Ohio, watching us on the webcam at cam.freetalklive.com. Go ahead, Jason.
Yes, I just had a few questions. Your guys' opinion, at least, on this.
Sure.
I'm curious. What do you guys think about all this stuff that's going on with North Korea and all that? Possibly what people talk about World War III and all that. Do you think it could possibly happen anytime soon?
Well, we addressed it earlier in the show, and I guess
he may not have been listening.
Yeah, right. I'm just letting you know. Okay. You can go back and listen, and anyone can go get an archive. Usually it's about 2 hours after we finish with the show. It's up and ready to go. I think the short answer is yes, it could.
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't know. It's all this stuff that's going on, and it's just, oh gosh, it's just crap.
Would
people calling out our
would it be World War III if no other countries joined with North Korea? I mean, because Mark, you had said that the UN actually
shortest World War ever
had been against. You said the UN resolution or whatever had been against North Korea, and that every country in the UN was unanimous, or the news report said they were unanimous on this. Now, maybe not every country is in the UN, but ultimately the big ones are. Are we really talking about a world war here?
Well,
I was asking.
I guess I can understand that. Yeah, and at the same time, I just think it depends, because with that being said, we're also tied with Russia and all that, and people are talking about all this stuff, and it's just kind of something to talk about when you think about it, because, you got North Korea testing out their missiles, and some people are questioning, what's the point of even testing them, if they're not planning to go to war anytime soon with anyone,
Let them go to war. What's going to happen if North Korea goes to war? We use a little sprinkling of napalm on a few of their farms, and then their entire country starves to death, within a month, within weeks. I'm
not sure what kind of food stores they
Terrible
have, but
idea.
they don't have any. Their whole country is in a state of starvation for the most part.
They're bankrupt-ish.
They were starving back in the 1990s, but in recent times, Kim Jong-un, actually one of the things that he's done right since taking over has been to look the other way with the black markets and allow people to sell things. So people aren't as famished as they once were. I'm sure the food choices aren't the best in North Korea, but
every once in a while somebody gets a Choco Pie, though.
There's a lot of Choco Pies, actually. People use that as currency over there in some parts of near the southern side of North Korea. Jason, thanks for calling in tonight. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I don't know.
Maybe I need to launch Choco Pie coin.
I understand you guys said they were testing a nuclear weapon underground, and that caused some kind of earthquake out there. And I realize that seems pretty scary, but I mean, haven't they been blowing stuff up for a while over there? I mean, this isn't really that new, is it?
Yes.
Is it?
It's new. It's new. You can't say it's not new. They flew a missile over Japan, and they set off the largest. It was an earthquake that was caused by this thing.
Yeah,
that was several times in magnitude the explosive power of Hiroshima.
Yes,
it's
new, Ian.
Yeah, that's very new.
This isn't I don't think so. It's. This isn't just, hey.
I feel like I've seen headlines about them testing bombs out before, though. So, I don't know.
Yeah, they have.
This is the biggest bomb they've ever tested.
Right.
Which is significantly bigger than the bomb that the United States dropped, the largest one that the United States dropped on Japan.
Now, is that based on the size of the earthquake? They're extrapolating, well, this bomb must have been this megaton because of the size of the earthquake? Because you can't trust Kim Jong-un. He's going to be like, this is the super megaton bomb.
They're extrapolating it based on the size of the earthquake,
Okay. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You can share your thoughts on North Korea or whatever you want. Ricky is not so worried about a world war. He's constantly obsessing over a civil war. Ricky, what are you calling about tonight?
Brother Ian, Brother Mark.
Just
Brother
get to the
Johnson,
point,
good
dude.
evening.
Just get to the point. What are you calling about?
What am I calling about? Well, I wasn't going to take a stab at this, but I think I'm going to one more time. Now, there was a caller coming in. See, here's the real problem with this. Like I said, we have control. The war with North Korea.
Okay.
We have control over that. We do.
I do not have any control over North Korea. I've never been there.
Our government.
Okay. How so?
Okay. That's because, and this is going to turn out actually pretty good probably for the Donald, going to suck for the rest of us. I don't carry an iPhone, but I know some of you probably do, because that's what's going to be coming. Because of the standoffish approach, we're going to put sanctions on
I'm
North
not putting
Korea,
sanctions on anyone. I support free trade for all people all around the world. No sanctions from me.
Well, I agree with that.
Oh,
but
you mean
here's
the government's going to put sanctions on? Yeah, they did talk about
and
that.
worse than that, they're going to then put sanctions in time. They're going to put them on China. That's going to suck for people who carry iPhones.
Is it? Because I thought Foxconn opened a factory in Wisconsin or something.
What a crock of crap. Hopefully they decide to make some Windows phones over there. That'd be nice.
Nobody wants a Windows phone.
Windows phones
Hey,
have
there
been...
was just one released this last week.
Microsoft said that they're no longer making the Windows phone. So
oh, really?
Yeah, that's done.
Hey, better than an iPhone and better than an Android. I'm
no,
fine
it's
with
not.
that.
If it were better than those things, they would still be making them.
I want one that's rooted and secure.
Well, then you would want the Windows 10 mobile operating system.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you an investor in Microsoft? Because you're always pimping their products.
Trust them. And that's what it comes down to.
What kind of sucker do you think we are?
It comes to these wars.
Microsoft. Wait. Microsoft is the company that specifically was releasing zero-day exploits to foreign governments in advance of, they were allowing,
What the hell are you talking about, Johnson? That's a new one on me. Please explain.
So Microsoft was allowing the United States to in the NSA to access the what's called the zero-day exploit, right, in the operating system in advance of this, so that other governments around the world would refuse to install and run Windows because they knew that the operating system was completely vulnerable to the U.S. government.
Thanks for the call, Ricky. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, whether you want to talk about North Korea or women fighting it out at the Lord of the Flies remake. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small, it's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's BuySellMakeOffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. BuySellMakeOffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free, take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well, so feel free to Skype in here at username LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Whether you want to talk about North Korea or the female-only version of The Lord of the Flies that's being proposed to, I guess, be a movie script or possibly be produced into an actual film.
I'd like to just expand on something I said right before we went away for a minute there.
Yeah.
The Microsoft, I made the claim about Microsoft and providing these zero-day exploits to the NSA. I mean, obviously, that's a rumor. There's a lot of stuff. I don't know how potentially substantiated that could be, because obviously, I don't know that they're going to want to admit to it. And now Microsoft is now attacking the NSA over this whole WannaCry virus that came out, and talking about how the NSA, they're trying to patch these security exploits that the NSA came up with. I mean, they're trying to make it sound like the NSA did all this independently and that they weren't, working with the NSA for years and years to provide them with these exploits to Windows. And also, the other thing that I don't think a lot of people know about is that there's a thing called the Microsoft GSP, the Government Security Program, where Microsoft works with international governments, but it's based on their copyright laws and certain other restrictions like trade embargoes what the United States has. So they won't work with like Iraq, or they won't work with certain other countries. But essentially, they provide national governments with the source codes to their operating systems, which they don't do for anyone else. So it's not like an independent security researcher can go in and do this, but national governments can, which means that they can use this to attack governments in other countries that are running these operating systems.
Well, so you wanted some evidence about Microsoft and their involvement with the U.S. federal government. Here's a story from, let's see, what year was this? 2013. So right in the heart of the Edward Snowden situation, where all the information, or a lot of information coming from Edward Snowden, the notorious NSA leaker, CIA/NSA leaker here. The Guardian reporting that Microsoft has collaborated closely with U.S. intelligence services to allow users' communications to be intercepted, including helping the NSA to circumvent the company's own encryption, according to top-secret documents obtained by The Guardian. The files provided by Edward Snowden illustrate the scale of cooperation between Silicon Valley and the intelligence agencies over the last 3 years. They also shed new light on the workings of the top-secret PRISM program, which was disclosed by The Guardian and The Washington Post last month.
And now they're finally starting to realize that it's hurting their business practices to do this. I think they thought that they were just going to be able to get away with it. No one's going to bat an eyelash at it. And that
no one would have known if Edward Snowden hadn't come out.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily true.
Maybe somebody else would have broken the silence, but that's where all this came from.
Right.
Microsoft helped. Documents show that Microsoft helped the NSA to circumvent its encryption to address concerns the agency would be unable to intercept web chats on the new Outlook.com portal. The agency, they basically handed them the keys. Oh yeah, we've got encryption, but here's the back door. The agency.
What's the point of encryption if you hand it over to governments?
There is no point.
Yeah,
it's an illusion of security. The agency, which is why you can't trust companies like Microsoft with your encryption. If you want encryption, you got to go with the old standard PGP. That's that's what Edward Snowden recommended. It's been around for a long time, and
it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. Pretty good privacy is what it stands for. The agency already had pre-encryption stage access to email on Outlook.com, including Hotmail. The company worked with the FBI in 2013 to allow the NSA easier access via PRISM to its cloud storage service SkyDrive, which now has more than 250 million users worldwide. So you're going to store something important on a cloud service run by Microsoft? Well,
better be encrypted.
Meaning you have to encrypt it on your own before you put it up there because you can't trust them to do it. Would recommend you not store important things on the SkyDrive because the FBI apparently has backdoor and NSA backdoor access to it. Microsoft also worked with the FBI's Data Intercept Unit to, quote, understand, unquote, potential issues with a feature in Outlook.com that allows users to create email aliases. In July of 2012, 9 months after Microsoft purchased Skype, the NSA boasted that a new capability had tripled the amount of Skype video calls being collected through PRISM. Material collected through PRISM is routinely shared with the FBI and CIA, with one NSA document describing the program as a, quote, team sport, unquote. The latest NSA revelations further exposed the tensions between Silicon Valley and the Obama administration. So then it goes on with a little bit more analysis. But interesting, just a bit of a flashback there to what was happening in 2013. So, Microsoft, they have the documents to prove that Microsoft was deep in bed with the NSA and the FBI, giving them backdoor access to everything that mattered, your email and your files on their SkyDrive. So, yeah, Don't trust Microsoft. Even if they're saying right now, oh, well, now we care. Oh, the market has spoken, and now we're listening closely to you out there. You are Microsoft users. We got caught red-handed here, and we are so embarrassed that we're creating a new department within Microsoft to push back against the NSA. No more are we going to be giving them backdoor access to all of your files and emails. Now you can trust us. You buy that, right?
No.
No.
It is the standard operating platform for the vast majority of computers in the world, though. What's your recommendation?
It is a platform. It is a platform for people who are using, desktop computers. But Linux does dominate in the business market. So just so you know, I mean, Microsoft doesn't win in all of the categories. They do win at home users or maybe laptop users. But I got to say, I've been using Linux now, and I've been a critic of Linux as far as it's difficult to use for the average user. It's better now than it's been in the past, and that's something I've always said about Linux for the last 15 years, is it keeps getting better and easier to use. For somebody who just wants to do web browsing and document creation, Linux is fine for that at this point. You can get Linux Mint or Ubuntu, and both of these Linux distributions are pretty graphically user-oriented, pretty easy. They've got, I think generally both of them have LibreOffice installed. So as soon as you get Linux installed and boot up for the first time, you've already got an Office suite installed. You've got a web browser, so you don't have to even jump through whatever hoops would be required.
For most people who use their computer are basically, it's a glorified web browser for most computers nowadays.
These days, sure.
And just Office software. So, I mean, I think for most people, Linux is perfectly good enough.
I think now
have
that's
two
probably
screens, and my Linux, I basically have to shut it off every time I use it, because if I leave it running and it goes to sleep,
there's a bug.
It'll just everything's upside down when I come back. It doesn't make any sense. It's just,
every now and then there's bugs.
What version? I mean, are you running an up-to-date version?
I'm running an up-to-date version of Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, okay.
I've got every now and then there's a bug with Linux Mint that I can notice, but it's for the most part usable. I would say I agree with your assessment, Johnson, that at this point these sort of Windows-like Linuxes have gotten to the point where they're pretty much there. There are a few things that trying to do something that's sort of a little outside of the norm is probably going to require you to open up a terminal, and that gets complicated.
My one hang-up is just, unfortunately, proprietary software from Adobe.
That's not available.
Yeah, I want this creative suite of applications to be on, and I pay for Creative Suite. I want it to be on Linux. I would continue to pay. I want to use it on that operating system. If Adobe's applications were native to Linux, I would jump ship immediately.
Now, I have not tried these things out. Maybe you probably have, but the Windows emulators, do those work for big apps like that?
I've only heard not so great things.
Okay. I've heard good things, but I've never heard anybody trying to run a big app like that. So I don't know if
it slows it down significantly from what I understand.
Because you're emulating Windows within Linux and then emulating the operation of that program within the emulation.
But that's zippy.
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Not the speediest.
It's an option for people who want to try it out. I've heard good things, but I've never tried it myself. So I do agree with you, and Linux, of course, is free. It doesn't take a big investment to try it. You do kind of have to, I don't know, as far as installing it, could the average user really figure out how to install?
Yeah, I installed it.
I actually think it's easier than installing Windows.
Yeah, the installation was easy for me.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Using Skype on it, on the other hand, not so easy. It's been an utter
oh my
pain
God!
in the butt.
Yeah,
you're using a Microsoft product on Linux.
You actually had to get a hacked version of Skype, right?
I got something called Ghetto Skype.
Yeah,
I want to apologize to all our listeners that live in the ghetto.
It worked first time. I went over to Mark's house. He wanted me to get. He'd got this new Linux computer built, and he had Skype on it. And you do the Edgington Post, where you interview people, and you wanted to be able to do that again.
I wonder if Skype would work in wine.
And I'm looking and looking and looking. And I'm like, I cannot figure this out. I spent probably a half hour sitting there just trying to figure out why. I mean, looking at sound settings. Skype was running, but the sound settings weren't working correctly. And I'm not a fool. I mean, I can check sound settings, but nothing I did worked. I'm searching for solutions on the internet, trying to find guides or other ideas. And finally, later on in the day, I found Ghetto Skype, and it worked the first time. More coming up. Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic at Dinovite.
This year, whenever you order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog, we'll send you a free sample of one of the other doggy things we make.
Like Liquid Chops, Super Mega Fish Oil, or Doggo Suds Shampoo.
What's on your dog's wish list?
We'll offer a different freebie each week at Dinovite.com.
Don't you just love the sound of healthy, happy dogs?
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment, it gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,424. Antiwar.com reports tensions between the U.S. and North Korea threaten to have devastating consequences for South Korea. South Korean officials, however, appear to be lining up to play host to yet more U.S. military assets, including potentially bringing nuclear arms back into the country. The first announced deal was that South Korea will temporarily allow the U.S. to deploy 4 additional THAAD missile defense systems in the country. The U.S. government tried to rush through this deployment before the last election, but was stopped midway through by environmental concerns. South Korean Defense Minister Song Young-moo is encouraging the U.S. to regularly deploy strategy assets like aircraft carriers and nuclear bombers in the country. He also suggested it was worth considering hosting tactical nuclear arms outright. On top of hosting more U.S. military equipment, they're looking at their own military buildup. The White House announced on Monday that they have given conceptual approval for removing a limit on the sort of warhead South Korea is allowed to have. While the Trump deal is not yet finalized, it is part of decades of progressive loosening of South Korea's arms limitations. Officials say they hope they'll buy billions of dollars in U.S.-made missiles under the deal. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports workers took to the streets nationwide to rally for better wages on the national holiday honoring America's labor movement. Fight for 15 campaigns to increase the minimum wage took place around the nation on Labor Day, with several beginning before the sun came up. Fast food workers were especially well represented. In Chicago, several thousand people rallied in the Pilsen neighborhood on Monday morning before marching downtown. Attendees protested Governor Bruce Rauner's recent veto of a bill to raise Illinois' minimum wage to $15 per hour. That state's minimum wage is currently $8.20
cents, except in Chicago, where it is set currently at $11 per hour. Protesters plan to organize outside of McDonald's. McDonald's corporate said in a statement the burger chain had raised pay and started offering paid time off at company-owned restaurants. In Connecticut, dozens of people participated in labor protests in Hartford, East Hartford, Manchester, New Haven, and Waterbury. A crowd of fast food workers chanted as they marched outside of McDonald's in Hartford, "Hold the burger, hold the fries, make our wages supersized." In New Orleans, dozens of people gathered outside of McDonald's demanding that the minimum wage be increased and seeking their rights to form a union. The highest state wages are $10 in Massachusetts and Washington State. The District of Columbia's minimum wage is currently $12.50 per hour. D.C., California, and New York are phasing in a $15 per hour minimum wage. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Hurricane Irma, barreling towards the Caribbean and southeastern United States, was upgraded to a powerful Category 4 storm on Monday as islands in its path braced for a possible onslaught. Hurricane advisories were issued for territories that dot the West Indies, including parts of the Leeward Islands, the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, in preparation for the intensifying storm that could pummel the area with life-threatening winds, storm surges, and torrential rain by Tuesday evening, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. One grocer in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, said traffic at his store on Monday was about 50% higher than normal as people stocked up on water, canned products, and batteries. Irma also threatens the U.S. East Coast and Florida, which on Monday evening declared a state of emergency. The National Hurricane Center is predicting Irma will reach southern Florida on Saturday. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
His name is Osimo. Honda has unveiled its new human-like robot that the team says is designed to run a non-competitive half marathon and then smugly brag about it afterwards. Project leader Kenji Saito calls the robot very aggravating, adding, quote, "We knew how to create a robot that could run great distances at high speeds. The challenge was to build a bot that would be impressed with its own minor achievement. The robot even believes it could run a full marathon if it wanted to, but it's just doing this to stay in shape and have some fun.
If I wanted to, I probably could have played college football."
Aiming to make the android as realistically human as possible, scientists installed sensors to register derisive comments and eye rolls from annoyed coworkers as genuine interest in its self-centered blathering. The team noted that the irritating robot could be useful in medical fields as well. Already, Osimo has pestered scientists into sponsoring it to run a 5K in Cape Cod this summer. To date, it's raised over $700 for leukemia research.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You can dial toll-free to join us on the radio and bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. Tonight, in studio, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
And, of course, you can take control of the airwaves. Earlier in the show, we were talking about the North Korean supposed threat. They've been testing bombs, shooting missiles, and according to both of you guys, that they're at a level that they've never been, that they've got some kind of potential hydrogen bomb, nuclear weapon that they've tested.
Can you imagine
underground.
that they would stay at the level that they had been, which was not really ready for prime time on a nuclear level? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, they just seem particularly inept at a lot of things, so I don't tend to really put a whole lot of stock in them.
They're dumping a lot of money into this, and
Yeah.
they've got, they got brilliant minds like any country's got brilliant minds. You throw money at brilliant minds, and yeah, you're going to be able to put together a nuclear program.
The Guardian.com reporting on what Putin has to say about all this. And Putin is the one who sounds like he's advocating for peace You've got a very strange situation here. The Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned that the escalating North Korean crisis could cause a, quote, planetary catastrophe, unquote, and a huge loss of life. It described U.S. proposals for further sanctions on Pyongyang as useless. He said, quote, ramping up military hysteria in such conditions is senseless. It's a dead end, he told reporters in China. He continued saying that it could lead to a global planetary catastrophe and a huge loss of human life. There is no other way to solve the North Korean nuclear issue save that of peaceful dialogue, unquote.
I sincerely hope that that world leaders hear this. Do you hear Putin's statement as we are standing in solidarity with North Korea? I mean, global.
No, it sounds like he says you should talk rather than put sanctions.
Sure. But do you hear this sort of this could be a global catastrophe, that kind of thing?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Read between the lines.
Right, I'm just guessing.
On Sunday, North Korea carried out its sixth and by far most powerful nuclear test to date. The underground blast triggered a magnitude 6.3 earthquake and was more powerful than the bombs dropped by the U.S. on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the Second World War. Putin was attending the BRICS summit, bringing together the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Speaking on Tuesday, the final day of the summit in Xiamen, China, he said Russia condemned North Korea's provocations, but said further sanctions would be useless and ineffective, describing the measures as a, quote, road to nowhere.
Yeah, I agree that sanctions are of no particular value. Kim Jong-un and his cadre of generals and basically anybody who's an officer in their army on up is going to be fine. And then everybody else is going to be hungry. So what?
How's that going to, affect them?
They've been that way in the past. It's not like that. It's not like that shook their power.
Right. And once again, it gives the North Korean government another reason to blame the United States. I mean, they're already blaming the United States for all kinds of things they're not doing, like the power outages, for instance, at nighttime. The U.S. gets the blame for that, at least according to some documentary I've seen. You kind of have to take what you're fed about North Korea from the various different media that's out there about it, documentaries and such. But during their outages of power, which are fairly frequent in North Korea, the official explanation for that is the United States is sabotaging their power structure.
How would we do it?
Doesn't matter. You don't have to ask those questions, Mark. You just believe what the dear leader tells you. That's how it works over there.
Right.
Quote, we all remember, this is again more from Putin, what happened with Iraq and Saddam Hussein. His children were killed. I think his grandson was shot. The whole country was destroyed, and Saddam Hussein was hanged. We all know how this happened, and people in North Korea remember well what happened in Iraq.
I bet they do.
They will eat grass, but will not stop their nuclear program as long as they do not feel safe, unquote. U.S. bid for the United Nations Security Council to vote on the 11th of this month on new sanctions is a little premature, said Vasily Nebenzia, Russia's UN ambassador. Russia is a permanent member of that Security Council and has veto power. The U.S. top diplomat acknowledged that more sanctions on North Korea are unlikely to change its behavior, but insisted that they would cut off funding for its ballistic missile and nuclear programs.
Nope.
So anyway, there you go. That's what old Putin has to say about it. If you want to jump in, you're welcome to do so. As we go to Chad, he's on the line on Skype. Hello, Chad.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, all right.
Right in the path.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sorry if you guys already got to this, but I kind of wanted to echo Ian's skepticism over the whole North Korea thing. Because I remember when we were in college, when I was in college anyway, I'm sorry, I'm older than you guys, or younger than you guys, there was this whole incident with Iraq where we invaded it, right, because Saddam had these alleged weapons of mass destruction. I remember at the time, the irony being that North Korea said, not only do we have them, we're going to use them. And, the United States invaded Iraq anyway, but those two conversations happened at the same time because North Korea seemed like this distraction for it. And I wonder if that's similar to what's happening now, that Trump is invading Afghanistan and possibly signing up for war against Venezuela, that we're all talking about North Korea again, when in reality this is just a repeat of what happened last time, and it's probably not an actual threat, right?
So it's like watch the birdie while the U.S. invades some other country?
Sort of. I mean, I feel like this has happened before. We talked about North Korea and them, possibly going to war with South Korea when Obama invaded Libya. And I feel like this comes up every now and then. But truly, unless there's an economic advantage there for the U.S., they're never going to declare war on a smaller country anyway. And smaller countries don't attack larger ones unless they're attacked first. So I don't know if I feel like the whole threat is genuine.
Well, so North Korea did fire a missile over, Japan, right?
Yeah. I mean, I read that too.
And did have an atomic bomb test sort of underground near the border of North Korea and South Korea. That hadn't happened before either, right?
No, I agree. I'm not saying that those incidents are new, and obviously you're correct when you say that that's going to progress and their technology is going to get better, but I feel like I've heard that they're a nuclear threat a bunch of times before, and it's never mattered. And I don't know if it matters now. I feel.
But
like
if they're a nuclear threat before, and progress is going to happen, won't they really be a nuclear threat at some point?
I just feel like that's to me that just feels so similar to the sort of the mainstream line that Trump and the Republicans always want to put forth on things of stopping things before they get out of control. And yeah, maybe you're right, Mark. Maybe North Korea really is progressively building up to be a global threat, but I have to wonder why these conversations always happen when another war is going on. And Trump did just reinvade Afghanistan and killed a bunch of civilians a week ago, and we're all we're not talking about that.
Yeah, I feel like I heard something about it maybe on the air here, but I don't remember all the details. Hey, Chad, I want to let you know we're cranking your signal up all the way here, and it's actually pretty hard to hear you, so I'm going to let you go, but I appreciate the call. You might want to check your levels before you call back the next time. Thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Let's continue here as we go to Greg in New York. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Greg.
Hey, how are you guys?
What's on your mind?
I called in yesterday. I was talking about speculation, and somehow the conversation turned to fractional reserve banking, how banks create money out of thin air. And I wanted to ask, what side of that are you on? How do you view the ability of banks to issue money out of thin air? Is that a desirable thing or not, in your opinion?
I generally don't think it's a very good idea.
Yeah, I would call it lying.
Well, unless they're upfront about it. If they're like, well, you put your money in with us, and we're just going to not guarantee we can give it back to you because we might be loaning it out to people in times 10 or whatever that we don't even have on reserves, because that's what fractional reserve banking is they can loan out 9 times, or apparently the number changes, but 9 times as much as they have on deposit, which of course doesn't actually exist. They're literally creating it from thin air.
If there was a marketplace where banks competed based on, whether or not they had your reserves available to be withdrawn, the banks that don't have your reserves available and are lending out 9 times the reserves they have are going to lose in that marketplace, right? I mean, because that's not a business model that's going to resonate with the average depositor.
Unless, of course, there's... hang on, Greg. We'll let you respond to that coming up here in a moment. Unless... they're saying, hey, look, we're going to loan your money out big time and we'll pay you more for it. Like if they say you may not be able to withdraw.
Certificate of deposit, dude. It's not that big of a complicated of a thing. You don't have to have fractional reserve banking to not have people be able to withdraw their money right away.
All right, more coming up here. 855-450, free like freedom. Join us on the radio here. This is Free Talk Live.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities, all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com. If you want to promote your business, organization, website, or club, radio's a great way to reach a lot of people. And because the ads are low cost, you can reach them a lot more often. Repetition builds reputation, and ads with audio are just more convincing than print or digital. If you need local people, please contact this station. If you can sell nationally, I'd love to help. Free Talk Live is nationally syndicated on more than 170 radio stations, and we have a large and loyal podcast audience. Check out our packages at advertise.freetalklive.com. If you need something custom, contact me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. So we're going to get back into your phone calls and thoughts. We were talking about fractional reserve banking. Sounds like a really exciting topic, huh? Well, actually, it's pretty important, and a lot of people, I don't think, even really know that it goes on. They may understand that banks loan out the money they put in deposit, but they may not know that the banks loan out like 9 times as much as they have on deposit, because that's basically the system, as I understand it. You can share your thoughts with us. 855-450-FREE, like freedom, as we go back here to... Actually, I want to tell... Actually, Mark, give us an update on hope.freetalklive.com, the building of a orphanage that you've been and our listeners have been funding. You've been raising money for out in Jinja, Uganda.
Yeah, they're going to start doing. I don't have the right word for this. What is the the concrete sort of beam that upon which you set the roof trusses?
Brother, you're going to ask me a question about home construction?
Building construction, anyway, and foreign building construction.
Joist?
They do, like a joist.
Are you talking about ceiling joists?
Yeah, it's not going to go. They're not going to go across though. These aren't. They aren't going across an open space. They're just going along the wall. Anyway, they're putting concrete beam things across the edges of the tops of the walls.
Sounds important.
Yep, and then they will place the roof atop of that, and then we will have a structure, right? Like the show me the money phase will be completed once the roof's on, and then we'll do whatever we have to do on the inside. We've got about $8,000 left to raise, and with the matching money from getsell411.com and jax.io, that should put us at right about $2,700 worth of raising from listeners.
Meaning that we need to raise $2,700, and then that will be matched double.
Correct.
By the matching organizations. Big thanks to Jax and Cell 411 for that. So check out hope.freetalklive.com. You can see pictures of the construction as it's been ongoing.
Yeah, I've just added a few today, so there's new pictures to see.
And you can get donation information there as well.
They had their first class in the half-constructed orphanage at this point.
Cool.
It was a class on how to introduce yourself. And there's some I got some video of it, but, whatever.
Excellent. All right, so check it out at hope.freetalklive.com. Let's go back to Greg in New York. He had asked, because you had called last night and we talked to some extent about fractional reserve banking, and you had asked the question because it wasn't clear to you what the viewpoint of the host of the show was on this. And I don't know if all three hosts got a chance to weigh in on that. Mark, you were against it?
Oh, yeah.
Johnson, your thoughts on fractional reserve?
Yeah, I'm against it.
Against, and I'm also against. But if it happens in the marketplace, as you would argue, Greg, that it did during the times when banking was unregulated, as you were saying last night, then again, I think it's up to the marketplace to provide that competition and not up to some centralized monopoly power to try to force businesses to do or not do certain things.
That's right. And I submit to you guys, if you are libertarian, you want the government out of everything, you should be very happy about fractional reserve banking and banks making money out of thin air. Because
why?
Banks, I'll explain to you.
Sure. Okay. I'll agree with your statement on that. I would be happy about that if they weren't relying on Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Right? Because that's why they're doing this, right? Because they can get away with it because they know that the government's always there going to back them up. And that's the only reason why they're doing this. So is that why you're suggesting I'm happy? Because the government's there to back them up? Is that why you think I should be thrilled about this?
No, that's not why.
Oh, because it sounds like that's what you were trying to gotcha me into anyway. And that's where I was thinking.
I want to hear what he has to say. Please, go ahead, Greg.
Sure. Well, basically, let me talk about the bigger picture of fractional reserve banking. Our whole economy, you have, obviously, the government, federal government, minting the coins and the Treasury issuing money. But what's nice is that you can have banks individually in the community issue their own money and make decisions as to who they will issue the credit to.
Yep.
So those credit cards that you started getting in the 80s, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know, they give you a credit line, but they don't know how much you're going to spend, right? They don't know up front if you're going to spend $10 or $2,000. You don't even know. So what's interesting is that the stores, they don't have to accept your credit card. It's not fiat currency, but they do. They accept it because the bank has enough credit that they trust that the bank will cash them out. That it will, eventually they can exchange that credit money for whatever it is. And so that credit money is 95% of the money in our society is actually issued on an individual, decentralized basis. That you go to a bank and they give you a credit card.
It's not decentralized. All the banks are pets of the Federal Reserve. I mean, they all exist
When
at
you
their
say
pleasure.
the money that's in circulation, do you mean M0, M1, M2, or unreported M3?
Well, yes and no. I could open, for example, a credit line for anybody that I want, for my friends. And I can give them money out of thin air in the sense that, hey, I'll pay for your dinner and then you can pay me back. So if you take that to an extreme, you do have institutions that basically their product is their credit. They issue money that businesses will accept, and it's not necessarily government money at all. The fact that the Federal Reserve exists is actually to counteract the fractional reserve banking. It's to limit it. It's to make sure the banks can't give too much fractional reserve. If there was no government, they would give much more fractional reserve banking. They would make much more money out of thin air without the government. So, I'm saying that if you want private entities to be issuing money, fractional reserve is your friend. That is the freedom to issue money to anyone.
So you're saying that without the government, the banks would be doing even more fractional reserve instead of lending out 9 times what they have on deposit. They'd lend out 50 times or 90 times or something like that. That's your claim.
Of course, that's what they did before they came under regulation.
I'm not sure they could unless they had a currency that wasn't backed by anything. I mean, if in the absence of a government-created fiat currency, it tends to be the default that there's a value-backed currency. With a value-backed currency, to do fractional reserve banking, then your bank is always, exposed to a run on the bank. And, it wouldn't take too many times.
Who's going to insure that?
Right. Well, there'd be insurance companies, Lloyd's of London.
Yeah, but who's going to insure if you're taking a huge risk and possibly risking a run on the bank? You'd have a tough time getting insurance, wouldn't you?
You'd have a tougher time, right? Like there would be more. There would be rules.
But what he's going to say,
what
Greg pointed out last night was that this allegedly was happening. The thing is, because the banks could just issue their own notes, right? They could just print those up out of thin air. It doesn't require the government to have a printable form of money. So I get where you're coming from, Greg. But the fact is, you look to the violent monopoly to provide a solution to this problem, while the libertarian looks to the marketplace to provide a solution. We would believe that.
I don't. In this case, I don't. I'm actually in favor of the decentralization. Look at the ICOs. Look at all the cryptocurrencies coming out now. They're exactly like the banks issuing the money. It's just that that money supply is controlled by a bunch of developers that create it.
And there's more competition in that market.
And people who pay for it.
And more competition in the money market than there ever has been. And, of course, if we didn't have the government there restricting banking, we'd have even more banks competing rather than banks gobbling up banks and consolidation in that industry, which is, of course, what government control leads to, which is oligopoly. Thanks for the call, Greg. We're coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts on Free Talk Live.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Free Talk Live.
It's if I'm watching not a cable, just regular news, and they give me the news, and the next flash is 2 people fornicating, okay? And then every other word is F-U, a B-I-C, a hoe, and all this stuff, and penis. Do you think I need to say that? That's not acceptable no matter what. You're saying free airwaves. For anything goes for anybody.
For public access, yes. That's exactly its purpose. That's the purpose of it.
Why not?
Do you want a red light in front of a cop?
Probably not in front of a cop because he'd hurt
What's
me.
the same difference if you're going to have that kind of FU and seeing 2 people fornicating after they just said the weather is 92 degrees and 5 inches?
Wait, I think you're a little confused about something
No,
here.
I'm not confused.
Point of information.
You're trying to confuse people.
Let's clarify
free
that.
Airwaves are free within limits.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America. as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free and bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype in to join us here. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. And, of course, you can take control of the airwaves. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Coming up, we'll give you an update on the Utah nurse in the hospital that has now come out with a statement, a new policy, addressed towards the police in Salt Lake City, because of this incident where a nurse was roughed up and arrested by an out-of-control police detective from the Salt Lake City cops. We can tell you what that update is here in moments, but let's go back to your calls and thoughts. Also, Mark, do tell us about some of the supplements that you've been taking.
Well, if you're eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, you're part of only about 10% of the population are pulling that trick off. And here's some more bad news. A preponderance of research is showing right now that you really need 10 servings a day of fruits and vegetables. That's nearly a gallon of fruits and vegetables in their raw form per day. Only about 1% of the population's managing to pull off that trick. 1 smug percent. And what's the prize for accomplishing this feat? Protection against obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cancer, plus enough antioxidants to neutralize all 5 of the known free radicals. These are all worthy goals, right? Well, I'm going to try to get all 10 of my servings of fruits and vegetables this month. I pulled it off every day so far in the month of September. But, it's a rather new month. So we'll see whether I manage to pull it off. But I'm going to cheat because I'm taking Fruit and Veggie Total from the makers of Whole Food Multi-Complete, and you can too. Please join me in this worthy goal to eat better, lose weight, live longer, and feel better. Go to simplifymysupplements.com and buy Fruit and Veggie Total. Use the coupon code FTL to save 10% on your order. It's a good percentage. Fruit and Veggie Total isn't exactly cheap when you look at the tub, but when you look at a per serving of fruit and vegetables, how much it is, it gets a heck of a lot less costly than buying all those servings of fruits and vegetables. They'll even give you a free shaker bottle. So simplifymysupplements.com, code FTL to save 10%.
All right, let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Mark.
Oh, yes. Yes, I just want to say that the 6-day pay leave, we'll be voting on that here in Albuquerque on the mail ballot.
What's that?
6-day pay leave? Explain that.
Yes, right. So let's say you're a worker. Let's say you catch the flu, and you're sick, and so you have to stay home for like 7 days.
Okay.
So then what the boss, they'll pay you for those days because.
You mean they'll be forced to pay you? What you're saying is the Albuquerque city government will threaten the workplace if they don't pay you for those 6 days, right?
Hey, Sarah, I work for myself. Free Talk Live is a business, and if I get sick and I can't work for 7 days...
Free Talk Live is more of like an outreach program of the Shire Free Church. I wouldn't call it a business.
Agreed, but I mean, there's still there's a marketing end of it and advertising. And if I don't bring in the money, then the organization doesn't get the money. In the case of businesses, if business owners can't work, is the city of Albuquerque going to kick in money for them so that they can keep their business going?
Well, I don't know the intricate detail.
The answer is no,
the
because
city
everybody
is not
cares about
deciding.
workers and nobody gives a flying, flipping, a rolling donut about a small business person.
Well, the thing is, the voters are going to decide.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should go round up a bunch of bums and ask them if people should have to mandatory give them cash when they walk by. We should let them vote.
What are you talking about? These are registered Albuquerque voters.
I don't care about voters. Voters are a bunch of little chicks sitting in a nest going, beep, 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 feed me, feed me, feed me. Look, I don't care. If you want to get paid, go to work.
Well, the thing about it is that, so do you think it's fair that, let's say they're out, let's say, short $250. They can't pay the rent, so that the whole family and the kids and mom, they're all going to get thrown out on the street?
Yes,
do you think that's right?
Because that's what happens to small business people. If you go and open your business doing something and you can't show up to do that work for 6 or 7 days, nobody's going to catch your back. But suddenly when you work for someone else, when you sell your labor to an individual or a business, then we're supposed to care. But the person who sells their labor out on the free market, we're not supposed to care.
Businesses go under all the time.
Right. 4 out of 5 businesses fail. Sarah, do you think that's fair?
Well, I just think that. What about, you know what? I bought an ice cream and I caught a flu because the worker at the cash register, she had the flu. She was there working because she had to work to make the money, and then I caught a flu. I had diarrhea and all that. Do you think that's fair for the customers and the coworkers?
I think the people who are sick. People who are sick should stay home while they're virulent. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the voters, that the city, or that the small business people should have to pay for it.
See, the way that you make the working environment better, Sarah, the real way that that one should make it better is through market competition and not through people voting new policies that'll be forced on businesses. Because I agree with you. It's a nice thing for a business owner to be able to give their employees a little bit of time off if they're ill. That makes sense. But to force them to is where you're going to cross my threshold here.
I think
That's
everybody
not okay.
who votes yes for this should have to write a check.
Well, the thing is, I did vote yes for this, and I know
Did you
that
write a
it's not-
check? No, you wanted somebody else to write a check, right? You stole from the people who had small businesses.
Well, but you know what? It's going to pass because
See, it's not stealing when you vote for it, Mark.
It's not stealing if it's going to pass.
Thanks for the call, Sarah, tonight. I mean, you can't actually argue with Sarah. She doesn't have the ability to really understand, I don't think, what it is that you're saying to her. She just has her talking points, and she wants to get them out on national radio. Look, I get why this is popular. I get it. Who doesn't want some time off when they're sick?
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Free stuff.
But ultimately, if we want working conditions to get better, then people can organize. They can come to their boss if they don't feel like they're being treated fairly, and they can, let them know how they feel. And then the boss may decide to adjust the situation, or he might fire them all, in which case they could go in a free market and create a competitor.
Or a competitor already exists that is paying their company, their employees sick time, that is in the same industry.
Well, because a competitor may realize, they may have the foresight to understand that if they treat their employees better than that other guy does, then those employees are going to appreciate working there, and they're going to give,
Which
maybe
is why you
stick
see
around.
this exact sort of thing happening in the computer industry for programmers, right? This is why Google has all the things that they have on their computer campus, because that's a very competitive industry where there are not enough employees who have those skills.
They have
to compete for that. They have to compete for those employees.
They've got like a nice cafeteria. They've got like stuff that
gyms.
Yeah.
They've got daycare. They've got, anything that you could possibly imagine to try and keep those people there,
right,
working and happy.
And don't they even let them work on some kind of personal project?
Oh yeah,
when
they've
they're on time?
got personal, it's like 1 day a week or whatever.
Yeah. So these are all things that the government didn't mandate. That's what you're trying to say here. The government didn't mandate Google to have all those fancy things. They're doing that because they want to get the best of the best employees.
Right.
And that's just market competition for you.
Yep. I still want to know who's going to catch my slack when I'm sick.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Unless you can train Jack.
Right.
Or Laura.
Right.
So toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
You know what we need instead of Labor Day? We need Small Business Person Day, because those are the people that make the sacrifices. Those are the people that take it on the chin. Those are the people who've created a better country. I'm sorry, they're the ones doing it. Now, they came from labor in many cases. They learned their work ethic working for big business or whatever. But this isn't 100 years ago, and it's not all of us in factories doing the yeoman work any longer.
You can share your thoughts with us. Take control of the airwaves here. Bring up anything that you want in these remaining moments. Whether you want to talk about labor, whether you want to talk about North Korea, Calexit, or any of the other things we've discussed, or bring something up that is entirely new. We're also going to share you the latest on what happened in Utah with the hospital's new policy regarding the police. It's Free Talk Live.
If you're an unincorporated business owner, it's too late for you. That is, if you've already been sued and lost your home, your car, and your personal life savings. But if you haven't been sued yet, there is still time to incorporate and protect your personal assets. And the first step is just a phone call away, because Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation toolkit to all business owners, including exclusive information on how to start and grow your business. For your free incorporation toolkit, call now 1-800-940-9829. Incorporation is the shield that protects your personal assets. Without it, you could lose everything. That's why at Incorporate.com, they just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. They don't provide legal or financial advice. If someone sues tomorrow, will you lose everything? Don't wait until it's too late. Call now for your free incorporation toolkit. Hurry, they're still giving them away for free at 1-800-940-9829. Call 1-800-940-9829. That's 1-800-940-9829.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio on demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Just dial in toll free, and you can take control of these airwaves even in the remaining moments of the show, which we got time for you right now. 855-450 free like freedom with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Don't forget, if you want to support Free Talk Live, then please join the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. You go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up there. And you get some cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group, and more. You can get all the details over at amp.freetalklive.com and get details about the restructured AMP goals. We, for more than a decade, had a goal of $10,000 a month, which we never even came past 50% of reaching. I think we just barely eclipsed 40% at our peak, and then it slowly sort of dwindled away from there. Maybe it's because, we didn't change things up to be as exciting as they could have been. So we're trying a different approach. And, it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks, but we're trying something new here, and that would be to readjust our AMP goal to a more reasonable $3,000 per month. And at that point, we will begin producing after shows, which our listeners have always enjoyed. They like it when we do an after show, but we don't do it very often. So this would encourage us to do them more often. Once every $500 added to AMP, we will do an after show, and then once every $2,000 added to AMP, we'll do a permanent after show every single month. So we could do as many as 3 or 4, permanent after shows per month if we get enough money raised. So that's one thing that we're doing to kind of change things up. All the perks are still there.
I'm just thinking. So if you still hit the $10,000 a month ever, will the listeners still get something very secret and very cool?
That I think. Well, we've done some stuff that we were gonna do long term back in the day. So we added in like the live streaming, and we added in the cams, and there was stuff that we had goals for that we were able to afford sooner rather than later.
Right.
So we did that. That other thing, I don't know when that's going to happen at this point. That's been taken off the table.
Okay.
So, but you can go to amp.freetalklive.com, and you can learn more about the AMP program there. You get the perks. Those are still there. Those are still the same. We actually have the new perk of the Free Talk Live badge that you can get on your user profile over at the Free Talk Live forum, which is a new feature that we have on our website. That's forum.freetalklive.com. So that's a new AMP perk. And so if you want to help us out, you want to help get Free Talk Live on to more radio stations, because that's the goal of the AMP program, is to promote Free Talk Live, to help us spread the message of liberty and freedom and peace and cryptocurrency as far and as wide as we possibly can. But it does take a marketing budget to be able to do that. And basically, we've been pretty stagnant on that budget. If it's not increasing, there's really not that much more that we can do.
Right.
So if you want to help us out, it's only $5 a month. You can use any major credit card. You can use PayPal. You can use Bitcoin if you prefer. And right now, not many people are using Bitcoin. I imagine that's because of the fees, but it's there for you if you want to use it over at amp.freetalklive.com. amp.freetalklive.com. Here's the latest from the Washington Post regarding the Salt Lake City nurse who was attacked by a psychotic cop on a power trip, trying to impose his will onto a woman who was just trying to do her job and protect her patient and follow the hospital rules
and the law
that the hospital had ironed out, supposedly with the very same police department in the past, about who can have blood drawn from them. This was what the officer wanted her to do, was to take blood from an unconscious man.
Right.
And basically she told him, look, the agreement we have here says that I can't do this unless the man is either conscious and consents, or you have a warrant to draw that blood, which they did not,
or he's under arrest.
That he's under arrest, which he was not. So, the officer Payne then attacked her and pushed her out the door and pushed her up
His
against.
name is really Officer Payne.
Sure was, Detective Payne.
Detective Payne, yeah.
He pushed her up against a wall.
Well above officer.
Roughed her up, and then locked her up in a patrol car for close to over a quarter of an hour. Anyway, the University of Utah Hospital, according to the Post, where a nurse was manhandled and arrested by police as she protected the legal rights of a patient, has imposed new restrictions on law enforcement. I think this is interesting, especially after we saw the mayor of Salt Lake City apologized. The police chief even finally came out with an apology, which is very rare. You almost never see the police apologize for their actions. I don't think Detective Payne has apologized at this point, but the chief did, and that's unusual. But despite all of the apologies, the hospital has decided to tighten down restrictions on the police within the hospital grounds. According to the story here, they are barring officers from patient care areas and from direct contact with nurses. Sorry, officer, you're no longer allowed here.
What if they bring in a patient and they need to keep an eye on somebody who's been, I don't know, beat up or shot or something, but they're a suspect and they need to keep an eye on them?
Maybe there'll be an exception made for a circumstance like that.
Maybe they'll have a private security force.
They definitely already have hospital security. That's that much is true. But I doubt the police will allow private security, authority, if you will, over a prisoner transport or something like that. So maybe they'll have an exception for what you're talking about there, Mark. But what it sounds like to me is that Officer, Payne is no longer going to be allowed to just waltz into any old place in the hospital where patients would normally be and start making demands of hospital staff. If you're a uniformed officer and you don't have a reason to be here, meaning some sort of order from a court or whatever, in this particular area, you're not going to be allowed. According to the story here, Gordon Crabtree, the interim chief of the hospital, said that at a news conference Monday that he was deeply troubled by the arrest and manhandling of burn unit nurse Alex Wubbles on July 26th. In accord with hospital policy and the law, she'd refused to allow a Salt Lake City police officer to take the blood sample from the unconscious patient. Wubbles obtained a copy of the body cam video of the confrontation, and after consulting her lawyer, the hospital and police officials released it last week. Crabtree said, quote, "This will not happen again," praising Nurse Wubbles for putting her own safety at risk to protect the rights of patients. Margaret Pierce, chief nursing officer for the University of Utah Hospital System, said she was appalled by the officer's actions and has already implemented changes in hospital protocol to avoid any repetition. She said police will no longer be permitted in patient care areas, such as the burn unit, where Wubbles was the charge nurse on the day of the incident, and from emergency rooms. In addition, officers will have to deal with house supervisors instead of nurses when they have a request. This will guarantee that nurses devote themselves entirely to patient care without interruptions, she said, while other officials deal with police requests. The policy was implemented in August before the incident became public. So this isn't a reaction to the news coverage. They already did this. It's just that we're finding out about it now. The incident, which has attracted nationwide attention in part because of the dramatic video, involved Detective Jeff Payne, who persisted in demanding a blood sample from an unconscious truck driver at the hospital who had early been involved in an accident stemming from police pursuit of a suspect. The hospital and the law in Utah and nationwide require police to have a warrant or permission from the patient to draw blood in such circumstances, and Detective Payne had neither. After Wubbles politely and repeatedly read hospital policy to him and even had a supervisor back her up on a speakerphone connection, Payne snapped. He seized hold of the nurse, shoved her out of the building, and cuffed her hands behind her back. A bewildered Wubbles screamed, "Help me!" Should
no longer be employed. This guy clearly has anger management problems, is kind of a psychopath, and should not be doing the job that he is doing.
Well, he's been placed on administrative leave, which means he's getting paid, likely, to sit out.
However, have a vacation.
He has lost a job. He lost his part-time job with Gold Cross Ambulance. And that may be because of his attitude, but also because, quote, he said in a video on the the body cam video from the other officer from later on, so after the arrest, later on when they're chatting it up in the parking lot, whatever it was they were saying, one of the things he was saying was that as a first responder, he could punish the hospital by, quote, bring them all the transients and take the good patients elsewhere, unquote. And that news came out, and guess what? Gold Cross Ambulance fired him, citing those specific remarks. After the footage was released, the president of Gold Cross Ambulance says, quote, "That's not the way we conduct our business. That's not the way we treat people in our city."
This detective was told over and over again that he was making a mistake.
Yes, he was.
Right? And he just decided that he could get away with it. And
honestly, he looked like he was on drugs. To me, this guy looked like he was.
He is. It's
jacked
adrenaline.
up on something. It looked like it was more than adrenaline. I mean, it was a calm situation before that. It was not like he was doing anything to get his adrenaline all pumped up at that point. He was sitting waiting for a phone call to happen. So it's not like he was like chasing after a crook and going through like.
Well, he's getting ramped up because she's not cooperating. She's standing
that's ridiculous.
She's standing in the way of what he wants, and he's getting mad.
It's not the first time power was called a drug, Johnson.
I guess, but I'm just, to me, this seems like more is at work than just that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger explained how he was addicted to it.
Oh, by the way, Nurse Wubbles says she thinks the police are not being held accountable for this in an interview with CNN and NBC. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, over at freetalklive.com, and she's probably right. Have you?
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
News for Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,424. Antiwar.com reports tensions between the U.S. and North Korea threaten to have devastating consequences for South Korea. South Korean officials, however, appear to be lining up to play host to yet more U.S. military assets, including potentially bringing nuclear arms back into the country. The first announced deal was that South Korea will temporarily allow the U.S. to deploy 4 additional THAAD missile defense systems in the country. The U.S. government tried to rush through this deployment before the last election, but was stopped midway through by environmental concerns. South Korean Defense Minister Song Young-moo is encouraging the U.S. to regularly deploy strategy assets like aircraft carriers and nuclear bombers in the country. He also suggested it was worth considering hosting tactical nuclear arms outright. On top of hosting more U.S. military equipment, they're looking at their own military buildup. The White House announced on Monday that they have given conceptual approval for removing a limit on the sort of warhead South Korea is allowed to have. While the Trump deal is not yet finalized, it is part of decades of progressive loosening of South Korea's arms limitations. Officials say they hope they'll buy billions of dollars in U.S.-made missiles under the deal. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports workers took to the streets nationwide to rally for better wages on the national